Tonight, you are exactly where you need to be. This gentle meditation is designed to help you unwind, quiet your mind, and slip into deep, restorative relaxation. As you listen, allow your body to soften, your breath to slow, and your thoughts to gently drift away so you can fully surrender to rest. Let's begin in a gentle way that welcomes your whole self, exactly as you are, with no pressure to be anything else and no rush to get anywhere at all. Find a position that feels supportive and kind, whether you are seated with your back soft and tall, or resting in bed with the blankets gathered around you like a quiet nest, and let your hands settle where they naturally want to rest. Allow your eyes to close if that feels comfortable, or soften your gaze toward a calm point and sense the room around you becoming a little more hushed, a little more friendly, a little more peaceful with every breath that arrives. Before we travel anywhere inside this meditation, I would love to know where you are listening from, because you are part of a warm and growing circle here, and your presence matters to me. When you are ready, please leave a gentle comment saying the city, the state, the country, or even the cozy corner of your home where you are pressing play tonight, so that other listeners can feel that sweet glow of connection too. It could be your living room with a quiet lamp. It could be the night shift break room. It could be the dorm with fairy lights against the wall. Or a small apartment where the window holds the sky like a secret. Please share your place and let the rest of us wave hello. Now bring your attention to your breath, not to change it or judge it, but to witness it with kindness, the way you might watch a candle flame moving in a gentle breeze. Inhale, noticing coolness at the tip of your nose, and exhale, noticing warmth as the air leaves. And imagine that each cycle is sweeping a soft feather duster through your thoughts, clearing the shelves of your mind with patience and care. If your breath feels shallow, let that be okay, because even a small tide moves the shoreline. And even a small tide reshapes the sand into tranquil patterns. Take a slow, comfortable inhale through the nose, counting softly to 4 if that helps, and then exhale through the mouth, allowing any tightness in the jaw to melt as if sunlight were loosening frost from a garden gate. Again, in through the nose, kind and unforced, and out through the mouth, long and easy, like pouring water from a pitcher, not all at once, but steadily and calmly. Feel the shoulders settle one quiet notch lower. Feel the muscles of the face uncrinkle, and let the tongue rest from carrying your day's words as the quiet begins to hold you. If thoughts arrive, if to-dos tap at the window, if memories or worries wander in with muddy boots, offer them a little mat at the door and let them rest while you rest, because nothing urgent needs your attention during these minutes of care. You can tell each thought, "Thank you for trying to keep me safe. I see you, and I will return to you later if I choose. But right now I am choosing ease, and I am choosing breath." Let the thought place its bundle down. Let it sit beside you like a quiet friend, and let your attention return to the inhale and the exhale as naturally as a tide returns to the shore. Bring your awareness to the crown of your head and imagine a small, friendly star of soft light resting there, glowing like a bedside lamp turned low. With your next exhale, invite that light to drift down to your forehead and your temples, smoothing any lines that arrived from thinking and planning, and feel the skin soften as if it had been listening to a lullaby. Let the light move to your eyes, loosening any tightness around the sockets, letting your gaze soften even behind your closed lids, as if your vision were resting in a hammock. Now allow the light to float to your cheeks and your jaw, unhooking the teeth, relaxing the hinge, letting the tongue soften, and notice how that simple shift invites the rest of the body to relax in response. Let it drift to the back of your neck and to your throat, where so many unspoken things sometimes wait, and imagine that light becoming warm tea, easing the words you do not need tonight, and placing them gently on a nearby shelf for safekeeping. When you breathe out the day's noise. Breathe out the pressure to be perfect. Breathe out the idea that peace must be earned. And breathe in the truth that peace can be received. Feel the soft glow settle over your shoulders, releasing weight that never belonged to you alone, and letting the collarbones float like small boats on a calm bay. Let the light slide down your arms to your elbows and to your wrists, then into your palms and the tips of your fingers, as if each fingertip were a tiny lighthouse signaling to your nervous system that you are safe. Notice any tingling, any warmth, any sense of spaciousness, and let those sensations be your evidence that the body knows how to exhale even when the mind is busy. Now welcome the light to your chest, where the breath moves like ocean swell under moonlight. And imagine that each inhale polishes the inside of the ribs with calm, while each exhale opens a window and invites a sweet night breeze through. If there is a knot of feeling there, you do not need to untangle it right now. You can simply say, "I feel you. Thank you for sharing." You may rest while I rest, and then return to the soothing rhythm of your breathing. Let the light move to the middle back, the upper back, the spaces along the spine that have been holding you upright all day, and imagine them being gently massaged by warm, invisible hands of kindness. Bring the glow to your belly, and as you inhale, allow it to softly rise like a loaf of bread in a warm kitchen, and as you exhale, allow it to gently fall, like that same loaf settling with a contented sigh. Let your breath be easy and natural, and if you prefer a rhythm, try inhaling for 4, pausing for 1, and exhaling for 6, which sometimes invites the body toward deeper relaxation. Feel the waist, the sides of the body, the low back, and the hips soften their edges, as if the outline of you were drawn in watercolor and the colors were blending in quiet harmony. Allow the light to drift down through your pelvis and into your legs, releasing the thighs, softening the knees, loosening the calves, and smoothing the shins, while your feet sink into the ground or the blankets like roots finding contentment in rich soil. Let the soles of the feet feel pleasantly heavy and wonderfully safe, and imagine them exhaling with you, sending excess energy into the earth where it can be transformed into calm. From the crown of your head to the tips of your toes, you are wrapped in a field of quiet kindness, and you are allowed to rest in that field as long as you wish. If you notice you are trying too hard, smile softly and let the meditation do the work for you. The way a river carries a leaf without asking the leaf to paddle. You can place one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly if that feels comforting, and feel the conversation between those two gentle places, a conversation spoken in the language of breath and warmth. With each inhale, say to yourself, "Here," and with each exhale, say to yourself, "Now," because this moment is enough, and you are enough within it. Sometimes the mind wants a picture, so imagine a night sky that loves you. A sky dusted with stars that are not far away but wonderfully near. as if each one were a friendly porch light from a neighborly universe. Imagine that the constellation of tonight has chosen your name, and when you breathe in, one star brightens, and when you breathe out, another star answers, and together they glow like two kind eyes watching over you. Let the distant sounds in your environment, the hum of a vent, the sigh of traffic, the creak of the house, become part of this cosmic lullaby. Not intrusions at all, but tiny instruments in the orchestra of evening. You might notice a thought asking whether you are doing this correctly, and you can let that thought smile and sit beside you, because there is no test to pass here, only the practice of being present with tenderness. You might feel a wave of emotion moving through, and you are welcome to let it move, like weather passing across a wide sky, knowing that you are the sky and the feeling is the cloud. You might feel pockets of quiet gratitude opening in places that were tense a few minutes ago. And you can let that gratitude expand without forcing it, as if a lantern wick were gradually turning up. Let us take a few breaths together, slow and kind. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, filling the chest like a calm tide reaching a soft shore. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, letting the shoulders melt and the jaw soften again as a wave returns to the sea. Once more, inhale, welcoming ease, welcoming softness, welcoming the truth that rest can coexist with unfinished lists. Exhale, releasing the need to hold everything at once, and trusting that what truly matters will still be right here after your nervous system has had this quiet sip of peace. Feel the body say thank you in the language of release, and feel the mind say thank you in the language of silence. As this introduction comes to a gentle pause, remember that your comment about where you are listening from helps knit this community together. So when you are ready, please share your place and let someone far away feel a little closer. If you are moving into a longer meditation or a soothing sleep journey next, keep this rhythm of breath like a small lantern you can carry with you, steady and kind, glowing just enough to guide your next steps into rest. You do not need to perform relaxation. You only need to allow it, and you are doing that beautifully by simply being here. Before we drift onward, place one more breath into the heart and let the exhale send gratitude outward to anyone who needs it tonight, including your own tender self. Trust your breath to keep you company. Trust your body to settle in its own time. And trust this quiet to hold you without asking anything in return. May your night be soft. May your thoughts be kind. May your rest arrive like a friend who always knows the way home. And may you feel gently cared for in this circle we share. When you are ready to continue, you can stay exactly where you are, letting the practice deepen, or allow your eyes to flutter open with the same tenderness you would use to turn the pages of a favorite book. Please remember to leave a friendly comment telling me where you are listening from, because your voice adds warmth to this space, and your presence helps others feel welcome too. Now, let's fly across the sleepy night sky, you whisper to the quiet within, and the quiet answers with a soft yes that you feel in your chest, and together you rise as easily as the hush of a sigh. You feel the lift begin at the base of your spine like a friendly breeze, and then it spreads to your shoulders as if wings are remembering their shape, and you float upward with an ease that surprises you in the gentlest way. The room fades like a lantern dimming behind you, and a velvet indigo sky unfolds ahead with stars arranged like slow music, and the night welcomes you as if you have always belonged here. Your body is light but grounded by trust, and your breath is steady and warm as it guides your pace. And each inhalation feels like starlight filling your ribs, while each exhalation feels like moonlight smoothing your thoughts. Below you, the world becomes a soft quilt stitched from rooftops and treetops and winding ribbons of silver rivers. And every piece of that quilt wishes you well as you drift above it with gratitude. You move through the sky in a gentle arc that requires no effort at all, and the air is the exact temperature of calm. And you notice how the night smells faintly of rain and jasmine and a little bit of possibility. Far ahead, a cloud shaped like a gentle hill appears, and its edges glow like the rim of a seashell. And you drift toward it without needing to steer, because your breath knows the way. When you reach the cloud, you discover that it is not only soft, but quietly warm, and your fingertips trail through it like a hand through tall grass, and the cloud responds by humming a lullaby that you somehow remember from before you could remember anything. You ride the cloud as if it were a small boat on a tender current, and the stars slide by like kind neighbors waving from their windows. And you realize that each star is a tiny guardian of ease watching over tonight's journey. The moon appears from behind a curtain of mist with the patience of an old friend, and it keeps a respectful distance while still shining a path, and its light drapes across your shoulders like a shawl woven from quiet contentment. You sense that the sky is more than space and light, and you feel that it is also a library of peaceful stories, and you are being invited to turn one page at a time without ever rushing the reading. The first page opens to a constellation shaped like a sleeping fawn, and the next to a constellation shaped like a teacup steaming with gentle dreams. And then you pass a constellation that looks like a hand offering a small lantern to guide your way. Each pattern of light speaks a wordless reassurance, and each reassurance settles deeper into your body like warmth after a kind smile, and your nervous system begins to stroll instead of sprint. Clouds gather in soft terraces that step upward toward a wider openness. And the farther you drift, the quieter the world becomes. And soon you hear only your breath and the slow music of the high night. From your right, a stream of stars pours across the sky like a floating waterfall, and the water is made of patient light rather than liquid, and it falls in slow motion that seems to massage the darkness into calm. You glide near the starfall and feel a gentle mist of shimmering coolness touch your face, and that coolness brings the exact freshness your thoughts were hoping for, and it leaves behind the softest wake of clarity. A gliding shape appears beneath the waterfall of stars, and you see it is a sky whale as big as a dream and as gentle as an old lullaby, and its back is smooth as polished night, where tiny lights are resting like dew. The whale moves with a slowness that calms your heartbeat, and you float beside it as if you are two travelers sharing a silent story, and every exhale from the whale is a breeze of lavender and cedar that tells you to relax even more. With a friendly tilt, the whale offers its back, and you understand without words that you are welcome, and you settle upon that broad, warm surface and feel as safe as a book resting on a trusted shelf. Together, you and the whale fly between constellations that look like gentle maps of kindness, and every star you pass seems to nod with quiet approval, and you realize that the night believes in your rest. A school of luminous koi appears ahead, and they swim through the air as if the sky were a clear lake, and their scales carry pink and gold reflections that sketch moving petals across your path. The koi weave around you in unhurried patterns, and their motions draw soft loops that your eyes follow naturally, and with each loop another thread of tension unwinds from your shoulders. One koi swims closer and circles your hands with polite curiosity, and you feel warmth and playfulness returning to your fingertips, and the fish's presence reminds you that rest can carry a light-hearted spirit. Beyond the koi, a crescent of cloud cradles a small village of lanterns, and the lanterns float at different heights like gentle bells that glow instead of ring, and you drift toward them as the whale hums a farewell blessing before diving toward deeper constellations. You step from the whale's back onto the crescent cloud, and the lantern village welcomes you with paths made of stardust threads, and each step releases a tiny sparkle that vanishes like a firefly deciding to sleep. There is a bench shaped like the curve of a friendly moon, and you sit there with perfect ease, and the bench holds you as a memory of kindness holds a tender moment. A gentle host appears, looking like an old wind wrapped in a shawl of silver threads, and their smile is soft and familiar, though you cannot place where you met before, and they offer you a cup of night bloom tea that tastes like vanilla and quiet rain. You sip slowly while the lanterns sway without any wind at all, and the host murmurs that travelers often forget how simple rest can be, and you feel tears of relief gather without needing to fall. The host invites you to watch the sky's theater for a while, and a curtain of cloud to your left opens like a book that knows your name, and a scene plays out in gentle silhouettes made entirely of light. You see yourself walking through the day with effort and grace, and you watch the moments that asked for more than you had, and you watch how you still met them with care, because that is the kind of person you are. In the next scene, you see yourself choosing a breath before speaking, and choosing a pause before rushing, and choosing a kind word even when none was required, and the audience of lanterns glows brighter in appreciation. The host touches your shoulder with a hand that feels like a gentle promise, and they tell you that rest is a reward you have already earned, and they tell you that sleep is a gift that gladly chooses you. You finish the last sip of tea and feel its warmth settle like a small hearth in your belly. And the hearth's glow expands into your lower back with comforting patience, and your body loosens as if a door has quietly opened. The lanterns dim to a tender halo and then brighten again, and you realize they are breathing with you in a friendly rhythm. And this shared breath makes the entire sky feel like a home that knows your stories. A small path of pearly light appears, and you follow it to a lookout where the cloud curves like the edge of a balcony. And from there, the universe unfolds with spacious kindness. You rest your elbows on the airy railing and gaze over a sea of slow-moving constellations, and you notice a cluster shaped like an open book, and another like a nest holding 2 eggs of dawn, and each cluster hums its own soft chord. The chords blend into a lullaby that does not require attention, yet rewards your listening. And the music feels like a hand smoothing your hair in a rhythm you have loved since childhood, and your jaw relaxes another subtle degree. A breeze of midnight blue drifts past, carrying the scent of pine and lake water and warm bread from a town you visited once in summer. And the memory arrives without sharp edges and simply nods before floating on. And you are grateful for the way time can be gentle. A feather of soft light descends and brushes your cheek, and it leaves a trace of serenity that moves down your neck and across your shoulders, and the feather dissolves into sparkles that settle like friendly snow against your heart. You feel a tender heaviness arriving in your limbs that feels like permission rather than fatigue, and you realize the body is ready for deeper stillness, and the mind agrees by turning the volume of thought down to the quietest setting. The host returns and offers you a small sky key made of pearl gray light, and they explain that it opens only one thing, which is the door to your most restful dream, and they place it gently in your palm with trust. You thank the host with a nod that contains more meaning than words. And you stand, and the lantern village bows in its own glowing way before you step again onto the open night. You do not need the whale now because your breath is your steady companion, and you float forward along a corridor of soft starlight. And the corridor opens into a sanctuary shaped from calm itself. The sanctuary is a sky garden with silver leaves and velvet paths, and a fountain that pours silence instead of water. And every surface understands how to cradle tired travelers, and you feel celebrated merely for arriving. In the center rests a bed of cloud petals that remember the shape of everyone who has ever needed rest. And you step toward it and feel your steps become almost weightless. And then you lower yourself into the embrace of its softness. The bed molds itself to your back and your hips and the curve of your shoulders, and your head finds a place where your neck can lengthen easily, and a blanket of night-blooming fragrance drifts across you like a quiet tide. You place the sky key near your heart as if sliding it into a pocket made from trust, and you sense the door to the restful dream opening nearby with no creak and no rush, and a warm hush flows through you as if to say welcome home. In the distance, a constellation shaped like a lighthouse turns its beam with unhurried certainty, and the beam lands upon your cloud bed as a stripe of pale gold, and the stripe becomes a ribbon that tucks itself along your spine. Your breath moves through that ribbon like a breeze through tall grass, and each inhale invites softness while each exhale encourages surrender, and the ribbon hums in agreement as the body listens. The koi return to swim their aerial circles above the garden pool, and their movement writes the word gentle again and again across the night, and you find yourself reading that word with your muscles and your bones. A small chorus of crickets begins somewhere you cannot see, and the sound is delicate and distant and respectful of sleep, and their rhythm mirrors the even cadence of your lungs. Your eyelids grow heavier in a way that feels like being wrapped in a familiar sweater, and your thoughts become drowsy birds settling upon quiet branches, and your awareness glows rather than thinks. If any last worry knocks softly, you place it on a tiny paper boat and set it afloat on the fountain of silence, and the boat drifts under an arch of stars and disappears with a promise to return only when invited, and the promise is one you trust without hesitation. You feel the border between waking and dreaming soften into a friendly shoreline, and you stand at that shoreline with contentment, and the tide of sleep moves toward you with the affection of an old friend. The sanctuary's air grows a little warmer at your chest and a little cooler at your forehead, and that difference creates a perfect balance that encourages deep release, and your body accepts the invitation with gratitude. You understand, without needing to explain, that every kindness you gave yourself tonight will echo tomorrow with quiet strength, and you understand that rest is not an absence, but a luminous presence, and you allow that presence to gather around you like a constellation of care. The garden slowly dims until only the lighthouse ribbon and the koi trails remain. And then even those soften to fine threads of glow, and the sky arranges itself into a canopy of protection above your breathing. Your breath, steady and kind, continues as the most reliable companion you could ask for, and your heart keeps its gentle tempo with confident peace, and your mind sighs into stillness like a poem finding its final line. You drift now into the dream whose door you opened with the pearl gray key, and the dream will carry you on pathways made of meadow fragrance and distant ocean hush, and it will return you by morning with the gift of calm that lingers long after dawn. Rest deeply in this cloud bed that knew your shape before you arrived, and trust this night to guard you with soft patience, and know that you are loved by the vast and tender quiet. Sleep can come as lightly as a feather and as surely as the moon, and you are perfectly ready to receive it now, and every breath lowers you into the sweetest part of the sky. May your dreams be kind in their images and generous in their timing, and may your body heal in ways too gentle to measure, and may you wake eventually with the softness you brought here multiplied and bright. For now there is nothing to do and nowhere to go, and the night holds its careful vigil while you rest, and the stars keep their quiet watch like friends who understand silence. Sleep well as you travel through this sky of comfort that remains whenever you need it, and sleep well as the koi and the lantern village and the patient whale wait in the distance of your memory, and sleep well as your own breath guides you with absolute kindness.